Tractate Bava Metzia, page 85. We start at 84b, very bottom of the page. והיינו דמרבי שלושה ענוותנים הן ואלו הן אבא ובני בתרא ויונתן בן שאול. Here the first phase, today is going to be like more agadeta. First part will deal with a humbleness, the Sifrut HaMusar and the rabbinic writings, loaded with the value of being humble, how far a person should be humble. Another phase we're going to study is the Yisurim, how a person should accept suffering. So the first one said that Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was quoted saying, and soon you see why, he said there are three type of people who are modest. Number one is father, which is Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel. The number two is Bnei Beteira, soon you see, and number three is the biblical Jonathan, the son of King Saul, and now we are on page 85. So, number one, Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel ha-de Amaran. Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, who we explained in the previous shi'ur, in the previous daf, that he called himself a fox, and we learn it in the previous shi'ur, which is an expression of modesty. Number two, Bnei Beteira, the Amarmar, after it was revealed that Hillel, the head of the Jewish community, knew certain halacha that they did not know, Hoshivuhu barosh, uminuhu lenasi alehen. So Bnei Beteira, at the time of the Beit HaMikdash, they were the head, the Nesi'im of the Sanhedrin. So it was a day of 14 of Nisan once, that it was obviously Erev Pesach, and it happens to be on Shabbat. So the question was raised if the Korban Pesach, if the Paschal Lamb, supersede the Shabbat. So they somehow, the Bnei Beteira, forgot the halacha, and they ask, is anyone knew the halacha if Pesach offering can supersede the Shabbat? So they said, this was a fellow that came from Babylon, and his name is Hillel, and he know it. So they call him, and he said yes, and he bring a lot of sources. So when they realize that he is the man of a greatness in knowledge, in Torah, in erudition, they made him the Nasi. And since that, it's a well-known Gemarrah we study in Pesachim 66, it perpetuated with his leadership. And the third one is Yonatan ben Shaul. We all, I assume, know the story of the relationship between David HaMelech, King David, and his best friend Yonatan. Logically speaking, Yonatan is the son of King Saul, who was the first Jewish king. And obviously, it should handed over by lineage from his father to him, the leadership. But he said, the Ka'amar Leile David, because in the book of Shmuel, chapter 23, Yonatan, the son of King Saul, said to his best friend David HaMelech, Ve'ata timloch el Yisrael, ve'anochi ehyeh lecha lemishneh. He said to his best friend, you will be the king, and I'll be the vice president, or the viceroy king. So even I, by nature, biological nature, Jonathan, I entitled to be the next king. But because he realized that David HaMelech, that King David, has a better trait and better quality, so he handed over to him. So the Gemarrah challenged that point, and they said, Mimai, how do you know that all of these represent an act of humbleness? Dilma Yonatan ben Shaul Maybe Jonathan, the reason that he gave up the kingdom, it was not because of humbleness. Dachazad de garir alma batar David. He saw, as the text tells us in the first book of Shmuel, chapter 18, that the world followed David HaMelech, so therefore, eventually, the kingdom will come to him. Even Jonathan will not give up and wanted to be the king, but the reality is, by the popular vote or by the way that people see him, he will take over. Bnei Betera Name. It may happen the same with Bnei Betera. It's the reason that they gave away or gave Hillel the leadership was not an act of humbleness. The Chazul le Hillel the Adif Minayhu. They realized that Hillel has a greatness of erudition in a learning of Torah, and therefore they were concerned that if they take a local person, will be embarrassment compared to him, because he knows more than anyone else. Here is an example, the question of Erev Pesach. Aval Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel vaday anvetan haya. But with it's all said and done, when it's come to Rabban Shimon ben Gamliel, certainly was a really, truly modest person. He called himself a fox, so that's a proof. So, if you remember, we learned in the previous daf that the body of Rabbi Elazar, the son of Rabbi Shimon, did not decay all those years that he was put in the attic until it was transferred to the graveside, the cave of Rabbi Shimon. And if you remember, we learned that the reason for that is because he accepted upon himself suffering, and therefore he exceeded Rabbi the way that the wife of Rabbi Elazar mentioned. So here you see the response of Rabbi to that. Amar Rabbi, Chavivin Yisurin. This is a very deep psychological and thinking, even philosophical, in Jewish thought, which is, one, the acceptance of suffering. Two, the attitude toward suffering. So here you have the leader of the Jewish community, which is Rabbi Yehuda Nasi, and he said to himself, in a sense, the affliction are evidently precious. Kabel alei treisar shanim. It means that he accepted upon himself a period of 13 years of suffering. Again, from the continuation, it's not clear that he accepted upon himself this act of suffering for a certain thing, but the Marshal said it was like measure for certain incidents. Anyway, shit bet smirta ushva betzafarna. So again, there are different explanations, but in general, it's different diseases. One is the stone in kidneys, remember those years, and the other one, it's a different version, if it was a dental issue or something similar, but anyway, it's a great act of suffering. ואמרי לה, 7 בצמירתה ו6 בצפרנה. אהור ירי דבי רבי, הווה עתיד עתיר משבור מלכה, which is, here they said that the settlement at the house of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was wealthier than the well-known king Shavor of Persia. Why? Because Rabbi Yehuda Nasi have the abundance of livestock. Tosfot explained that he became wealthier because of the zevel, I don't know exactly how to express it, but the idea is what left from Rabbi Yehuda Anasi. The Igorot Moshe explained that it's, even the Torah said, Lo yarbe lo susim, the king should not increase horses, but here it's different. Since he was Nasi, he wasn't Melech anyway. So they said, Kadhave Rami Kista Lechevta, when he sent this type of fodder before his livestock, Hava Ka'azil Kala Bitlata Mile. Again, this is the language of the Talmud, a little sounds exaggeration, but it's an expression that the sound will get to the 3 meals. The Hava Mechaven Deramei Be'aishata Da'el Rabbi Leveta Kiseh. So again, it's an expression of suffering. Rabbi was screaming, Rabbeinu Chanel said, from pain, and therefore he did it in order to reduce the screaming of pain. Again, is an expression that even the sailor heard out in the sea, his screaming of suffering. Again, the question is, what does that mean, adifei? But in general, they said that the afflictions of Rabbi Elazar, son of Rabbi Shimon, were greater than Rabbi Yehuda Anasi. דאילו רבי אלעזר ברבי שמעון מאהבה באו מאהבה הלכו, דרבי על ידי מעשה באו ועל ידי מעשה הלכו. By the Rabbi, it was due to the incident. על ידי מעשה באו מהי? What exactly the story? דהוא עגלה דהבו כממתולי לשחיטה. So it was a calf that was being appointed for a slaughter. So azal talya lereishe bechanfei de Rabbi. So this is a young calf that rushed to Rabbi. Vekabache, meaning this little calf tried to avoid the act of being about to be slaughtered. Amar lei zil lechach notzarta. Rabbi said to the calf, go, because you designated for that, which means that that's the reason you created for. Now, again, this resonates a cruelty. Even you can argue and you say that that's the way people acting, people taking animals and slaughter them for food, right? Some said the idea is that he was too young, and it's a point of cruelty. But anyway, Amre, in heaven they said, Ho'il velo kamerachem leitu alei yisurim. So it means that the Maharsha said that, look, if the oxen was old, cannot plow anymore, it's different. But because it's young, and because he expressed it in such a way, he doesn't show compassion, and he should receive suffering. And validei maaseh halchu, but on the contrary, it was a story that caused the suffering to subside. Yom achad habakah kansha amtei de Rabbi beita. So one day, the maid who works at the Rabbi Yehuda Anasi's house, they were cleaning. She was cleaning. Hava shadia bnei karkushta veka kansha lehu. So there was a young whistles and lying about, and she was in the process of sweeping them out. So Rabbi Amar Lach Shavkinu Ktiv Rachamav Al Kol Maasav. Rabbi said to her a pasuk that we said every day from Tehillim 145, that the Almighty has compassion upon all His creatures. So even for this one, God have compassion and leave it alone. Amrei, and here is just the opposite. Ho'il umerachem, since Rabbi acted here in the act of extraordinary of compassion upon these small animals, nerachem alei, so all of his suffering will be relieved. Kulhu, now the Gemara go back and compare between Rabbi Yehuda Nasi and Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon. Kulho shnei yisurei. By the way, it's a story in Vienna. It's a well-known story that there is a monument of a fish. And again, this is the tradition. When I was a cantor in Seitenstedtenstrasse, in the largest synagogue in Vienna in 1989, Rabbi Pauli Eisenberg, the chief rabbi, invited me to be the cantor there with a big choir. And this is the only synagogue that not destroyed in Vienna during the Kristallnacht. So anyway, it is a story that goes in Vienna. There is in a cemetery a monument of a fish. And according to their tradition, the fish was about to be cut for Shabbat, and the fish start talking. And again, this is what they expresses. Is a story about the Maran Achida, that he knows when he ate certain food that they have a sparkle of souls. They said about the Hasidic Rebbe of Apta. So it's a tikunei neshamot. It's like what we said, borei nefashot rabot vechesronan. That there are certain sparks of souls that attach to certain food, and when a person make the bracha properly, it helps the soul to return and rest in peace. Kulhu shnei yisurei de Rabbi Elazar, all those years that Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon was suffering, lo shachiv inish belo zimnei. So here they want to say every person has a certain amount of budget of years is going to be in this world. If he's not in a huge violation, he is going to live accordingly. But by having a neshama klalit, a general soul of Rabbi Elazar, he atoned for all these generations, and therefore all those years that he suffered, no one passed away premature. Kulhu shnei yisurei de Rabbi lo yitzrich alma lemitra, which means because of Rabbi's suffering, the world has enough water and is no need for a prayer for rain. The Amar Rabba Barav Shila kashe yoma de mitra ki yoma de dinei. So again, that time it was a special days like Monday and Thursday that the Bet Din get together. That was one of the enactment of the Ezra, the scribe, that every Monday and Thursday it should be a time for people to get together to hear the Torah. We studied in Bava Kamma 82, and that's the day that is a lot of noise, and people cannot do excuse me, what they are supposed to do. That's Rashi tells us in Ta'anit, page 8. ואמר המימר אליו צריך לעלמה, באו רחמן רחמלה ומבטללה. If it's not a general need of the world for a rain, the rabbis will pray to abrogate it. Why? Because it's imposed upon people from coming and going. אפילו הכי כי הבו אחרי פולגה ממשרה, הבו קיימה בירה מליה על מי. So they said even the radish was uprooted from its row in the field, there remained in its place a hole filled with water due to the moisture in the earth. The Maharsha explains that because of the suffering of each of the Tanaim, it's a great blessing for the world. It's like protection, it's helping. In general, the idea of rain, it's a reflection of din by the Kabbalistic literature. Anyway, Ikla Rabbi La'atrid Rabbi Elazar Rabbi Shimon, Rabbi occurred to visit to a place of Rabbi Lazar after he passed. אמר לו, יש לו בן לאותו צדיק, אמרו לו, יש לו בן, וכל זונה שנזכרת בשניים, סוחרתו בשמונה. So, עתיה אסמכי ברבי, he appointed him to be, והשלמה לרבי שמעון בן איסי בן לקוניה, אחו ידי מי. So he will teach him the Torah. So the Ben Ish Chai, the Ben Yehuda said that it's because it's embarrassment to have this type of nephew. So that's, he should be dedicated. Anyway, for Torah. כל יום אהבה אמר לקריית ענה עזר. אמר לי חכים עבדו יתך וגולתה דדאבה פרסו עלייך ורבי קראו לך ואת אמר לקריית ענה הזיל. אמר לי מומי עזוב עדה כי גדל עתה יתיב במטיבתא דרבי. He came and occupied himself in yeshiva of Rabbi. שמעי לקלי, אמר הקלה דמי לקלי דרבי אלעזר ברבי שמעון. אמרו לי בריאו, that's his son. קרא לי פרי צדיק עץ חיים ולוקח נפשות חכם. פרי צדיק עץ חיים זה רבי יוסף ברבי אלעזר ברבי שמעון. That because of his father is the perpetuation of Torah. ולוקח נפשות חכם זה רבי שמעון בן איסי בן לקוניה. So it's like his student is like his son. כי נח נפשי, when רבי יוסף ורבי אלעזר passed away, עמתו למרא דאבוה, הדרה לאחנה למרתא. That was a snake around the cave. You see it in several Talmudic stories that there's a story with snake around the cave. And obviously the Maharal said that it's not the literal snake. But anyway, אמר לי, אחנה, פתח פיך ויכנס בן אצל אביו, לא פתחה לי, it wasn't ready, כי סבורים העם לומר, זה גדול מזה. עשתה בת קול ואמרה, לא מפני שזה גדול מזה, אלא זה היה בצער מהרע, וזה לא היה בצער מהרע. So here we learn in Shabbat 33 how Rabbi Lazar and his father Rabbi Shimon was so many years in the cave, 13 years they're hiding from the Romans, versus the son did not went through all these hardship that his father, so it's a total different approach and attitude, and therefore that's the reason why the snake avoided him. יקלע רבי להטריד רבי טרפון, אמר לו יש בן לאותו צדיק, it's a similar story. אמר לו יש בן לאותו צדיק שהיה מקפח את בניו, אמרו לו בן אין לו, בן בת יש לו, וכל זונה שנזכרת בעיר ששוחרתו בשמונה, very similar story. התיוע לקמי, אמר לי הדר בך ילבין לברתאי, הדר בי כדאמרי נסבה וגרשי, כדאמרי לא נסבה קל, כדי שלא יאמרו בשביל זו חזר בתשובה, that she is the cause of his doing the tshuva. Obviously there are many interpretations, there is a comparison between here and the story of Reish Lakish. The Ben Yehuda said that Reish Lakish it was kind of in a quiet way. Rabbi, it was a public knowledge. Anyway, that's the Ben Yehuda explanation. Why Rabbi made an extra effort to do it? אמר רב יהודה אמר רב, ואמר לה רבי חייא בר אבא, אמר רבי יוחנן, ואמר לי אמר רבי שמואל בר נחמני, אמר רבי יונתן, כל המלמד את בן חברות רואה someone who teach his fellow son Torah, זוכה ויושב בישיבה של מעלה. שנאמר, אם תשוב השיבך לפני תעמוד. וכל המלמד בין עם הארץ תורה, אפילו הקדוש ברוך הוא גוזר גזירה מבטלה בשבילו, שנאמר, ואם תוציא יקר מזולל, כפי תהיה. So it's like a pasuk that imply you will be like the mouth of God that can rescind a decree. So that's the way Rashi and the Maharsha explain that it's a huge zchut. אמר רבי פרמנח, אמר רבי יוחנן, כל שהוא תלמיד חכם ובנות תלמיד חכם ובנות תלמיד חכם, שוב אין תורה פוסקת מזרעו לעולם, שנאמר רבני זאת בריתי, לא ימושו מפיך ומפי זרעך ומזרע זרעך, אמר השם נתן בעולם. So here it's kind of promise, which we said every day, if someone merits to have his child and grandchild a תלמידי חכמים, so it's a promise for perpetuation of Torah. מה אמר השם, אמר הקדוש ברוך הוא, אני אערב לך בדבר הזה, מה מעתה ועד עולם. אמר רבי ירמיה, מכאן ואילך תורה מחזרת על אכסניה שלה. The Torah will return to its lodging, because it's a kind of from one generation to the next. Obviously, there are several commentaries. For example, there's a Sefer Hasidim. He said that you see sometimes that there's a 3 generation of great Torah scholars, and then the great-grandson is not. So he explained that it's either because they are brothers, domeh le'acheahem, or the Maharsha said that Torah, it's not Yerusha, it's not inheritance. It's something that you have kelim, you have the basic tools in order to perpetuate the Torah, but a person needs to be amel b'Torah. Maharsha said a person needs to put his toil, his labor in Torah, and if you have in addition the zchut of his being descendants, that will be of help, but it's not something that one inherited to his future generation. Rav Yosef יתיב 40 תענית, he set 40 days in the fast, והקריאו לו ימושו מפיך, יתיב 40 תענית אחרינה, והקריאו לו ימושו מפיך ומפי זרעך, יתיב 100 תענית אחרינה, ועתה והקריאו לו ימושו מפיך ומפי זרעך ומפי זרע זרעך, אמרה וכאן ואילך לא צריכינה, תורה מחזרת על אכסניה שלה. So obviously, there are several explanations, the idea of the 40, the idea of fasting, anyway, it's a lot of rabbinics writing. רבי זרע כסליק להרעדי ישראל, יתיב 100 תענית להשתכח גמרא בבבלה מיני, כי יחד לא נטרדי. So the idea is Rabbi Zera wants to learn Torah from Rabbi Yochanan, and he wants to have a fresh mind. He was concerned, some rabbis said, that it will be a disturbance for him to accept the Torah of Eretz Yisrael in a different way. יתיב מאחריינת, דלו לשכוב רבי אלעזר בשני, ונפלין לווה מלידי ציבורה. So it means, unfortunately, when someone involved in the public needs is not learning the Torah the way he wished to and the way he should be. ויתיב מאחריני, דלו לשלוט בנורא דגיהינום, כל תלתין יומי, הווה בדיק נפשי, שגרת נורא סליק ויתיב בגבי, ולא הווה שלטה בנורא. יום אחד יאהבו ברבנן עינה ויחרכו שקיה וקראו לי קטין חריק שקיה. So Rashi said Rabbi Zera was a small one, small person. אמר רבון אמר רב, מאי דכתיב מי האיש החכם ויבן את זאת, ואשר דיבר פי השם אליו ויגידה, על מה עבדה הארץ. This is a pasuk of Yirmiyahu on chapter 9. Woe is the wise man, that he may understand this, and who is he to whom the mouth of God has spoken, that he may declare it. Why has the land been lost and laid waste like a wilderness, so that no one passes through? So they said, this question, דבר זה, the cause of the land being lost, 85b, אמרו חכמים, the wise man mentioned in the verse, ולא פרשוהו, did not explain it. אמרו נביאים ולא פרשו. The same question was asked by the נביאים, the prophets, and did not have an answer. עד שפרשו הקדוש ברוך הוא בעצמו, again, this is kind of anthropomorphic, but the idea is שנאמר in ירמיהו chapter 9, ויאמר על עוזבם את תורתי אשר נתתי לפניהם. The reason it's because they have forsaken my Torah which I set before them. אמר רב יהודה אמר רב שלא ברכו בתורה תחילה. So לפניהם, its implication that they did not recite the blessing on the Torah prior to its study, as they did not regard Torah study as a sacred endeavor. So they said, Amar Harav Chamma, Mai dechtiv, they said in the book of Mishlei, Proverbs chapter 14, בלב נבון תנוע חוכמה ובקרב כסילים תיוודע. He said in the heart of him that has discernment, wisdom rests, but in the inward part of fools it makes itself known. בלב נבון תנוע חוכמה, זה תלמיד חכם בן תלמיד חכם, ובקרב כסילים תיוודע, זה תלמיד חכם בן עם הארץ. אמרו לה היינו דאמרי אינשי איסתרה בלגינה קיש קיש קריה. They said that people used to say a small coin in an empty barrel rattles loudly. Where the coin, a coin is in a barrel full of coins, you don't hear it. Tosfot said it here beautifully, and Tosfot said, ואם היה מניחו בארנקי כרדקו להיות שם, לא היה מקשקש. Obviously, you put a box and you put one coin, it makes a lot of noise. Versus a field of coin, you don't hear it. אמר לרבי ירמיה לרבי זעירא, מאי דכתיב קטון וגדול שם הוא, ועבד חופשי מאדוניו. Job, the book of Job, chapter 3, they said, קטון וגדול, which is the humble and the great are there, and the servant is free from his master. Atu lo yad'inan de katan vegadol shamhu? Is that to say that we do not know that the humble and the great are there in the world to come? אלא כל המקטין עצמו על דברי תורה בעולם הזה, anyone who humbles himself over matter of Torah in this world, וכל המשים עצמו כעבד על דברי תורה בעולם הזה, and anyone who establishes himself as a servant over matters of Torah study in this world, נעשה חופשי לעולם הבא, will become free, and again, this is more a spiritual freedom in the world to come. So obviously, the Maharal in the Tivot Olam goes and explains that when a person subjugated all of his desires for the purpose of study Torah, is basically get this type of reward, as the Rambam said, that the greatest joys is Yoshvim tzadikim ve'atrotehem beroshehem v'nehenim miziv hashchina. The righteous, that's the greatest feeling of Olam Haba, righteous sitting there and the crown at the top of the head, and they enjoy the great resonancy of the divine providence. The Beit Halevi brings the Gemara in Shabbat. We all know the story that Klal Yisrael hekdimu na'aseh lenishma, that they perceived as first we are doing and then we hear and understand. And the Midrash said that, we study it if you remember in Tractate Shabbat, that the Malachim came and katru ktarim lerashehem, they put a crown at the top of their heads. So lichora, it's not the other way, that first let us hear and then we are doing. So the explanation, the Beit Halevi said that there is a two component in this. One is the act of study Torah by itself, and we said it many times. You're sitting in class, you not totally understand, your neshama understand, your inward part comprehended, and hopefully over the time you get a better understanding, or by repeating the studies you understand. But there is a idea of act of labor, of putting the effort in itself, that's called naaseh. And then you do it in order to fulfill the mitzvot. You learn in order to practice the way what you learn. So that's the idea of onesh lo birchu b'Torah lishma, because the Torah lishma, it's a koach atzum, it's a huge, great power. Now it's another story about the greatness of Rabbi Chia. Reish Lakish hava metzayen me'arta de Rabbanan. Reish Lakish was basically put a point. In those days it was a cave of burial for the sages, so you need to have marker to make sure that the Kohanim, the priests, will not pass by and become ritually impure. So you need someone who mark it. The Torah tells us in Leviticus 21 that the Kohanim are prohibited to enter the cemetery because they are prohibited to touch a corpse, a dead body. So part of that is concern that if you pass by those places that unmarked, it may happen that the Kohanim become ritually impure. So therefore, Reish Lakish put a extra energy and time to mark those graves. Ki matalim arta de Rabbi Chia I alma minei. Unfortunately, when he reached the cave of great Rabbi Chia, somehow he wasn't able to, it's like the grave eluded him. So obviously Reish Lakish chalash da'atei, he became distressed as he was apparently unworthy of finding such a grave. That's what he felt at that moment. Amar Ribono shel Olam, he said, Master of the universe, lo pilpalti Torah kemoto. Did not, Reish Lakish, did not analyze the Torah study like the great Rabbi Chia? So what's the reason I'll not be able to enter to his cave, the graveside of his cave? Yatzta bat kol ve'amra lo, it's a voice from heaven came and said to him, Torah kmoto pilpalta, Torah kmoto lo hirbatzta. Yes, it is true that you analyze the Torah like him, but as far as disseminating the Torah to the world, you didn't do it the same as he did. Ki havu mintzu Rabbi Hanina veRabbi Chia, when Rabbi Hanina bar Kamma and Rabbi Chia have this type of argument, Amar le Rabbi Hanina Rabbi Chia, bahadei didei kaminatet. So, do you fight with me in a way? Chas v'shalom mishtakachna Torah Misrael ma'adran alei mipilpuli. Amar le Rabbi Chia le Rabbi Hanina, bahadei didi kaminatet. דעבדי לתורה לא משתכח מישראל, מה יבדינה, אזלינה ושלינה קידנה, וגלילה נשבי, וציד ניטבה, ומאכילנה בשרה וליית מיוסין יהיו גמרות, the explanation running out of time, ועריכנה מגילתה, וכתבנה 5 חומשי תורה, וסליקנה למטה, ומקרינן 5 עינוקי ב5 חומשי, ומתניתן 6 עינוקי, 6 סתרי, ואמרנה לורה דאדרנה ועתינה, עקרו אהדדי, ועתנו אהדדי, ועבדי לתורה, לא תשתכח מישראל. Because Rabbi Chia make an effort to do it by himself in order to make sure that Torah has a continuation. And then Rabbi Yaakov Kamenetsky explained in his book Emet LeYaakov that in this way he was able to perpetuate Torah to the future generation and not be forgotten. Ben Yehuda said that he fed the animals at that time with the orphans in order to have them partake of that. And Torah mevi'ah lidei maaseh, the study of Torah bringing to gmilut chasadim, loving kindness. Hainu damaravi kama gdolim maasei chiyah. This is what Rabbi said, the Rabbi Yehuda Nasi said, how great are the deeds of Rabbi Chia. Amar le Rabbi Ishmael v'Rabbi Yossi, afilu mimar, amar le ein, afilu abba, amar le chaz v'shalom lo tiyeh kazot b'Yisrael. Which is, you father supersede from Rabbi Chia. So that's Gemarrah in Sanhedrin 24 that said that if Rabbi Yossi will live in the time of Rabbi Yehuda Nasi presidency, he will sit in front of him and study Torah. So again, it's hard to even think about comparison between the two. In conclusion, I would like to share with you something I read recently by Rabbi Harav Chaim Naftali. I never met him, but it's in the Yated Ne'eman. He wrote on this daf that Rav Piנחas of Koritz will try to find a source in Chazal for whether he was involved in. So his neighbor was very nasty to his life in help. When he suddenly got a toothache, like we read about Rebbe and read about Rav Pinchas, here he asked to daven for him. You know why this happened to you? Asked the tzaddik. The Gemarrah tells us in our daf in Bava Metzia 85 that Rabbi Yehuda Nasi was punished for failing to show compassion for a young calf that was being taken to slaughter. He got a toothache for 13 years, as we just studied. You are not compassionate on your help, so you are also suffering a similar fate. There is a way to fix this, however. In your case, if you accept to be compassionate on your help, from now on, you will have complete recovery. And the man agreed and felt better immediately. And that's from, he quoted from a book called Masrov Ra Esh Lohei, which is a book that quote again from Yated Ne'eman.